Feel free to mock. Mock as much as you like. Don't think I can't track you down and kill you if you mock me too much. Wow. From Tom Green to Matsumoto Jun. I don't think I'm quite Matsumoto Jun, but thanks anyway. The thing is, I'm more afraid that it's not the ladies, but the guys who are going to like me with this look. But seriously, this is pretty metrosexual. Like, and they trimmed my eyebrows. They trimmed my eyelash. Yes, I did get my eyebrows done, which I didn't even know was something that people do. I didn't realize that anyone gets an eyebrow cut. It's a whole new world. Actually, the general consensus by everyone is that I look younger. And I think it's probably true. I do look younger. But when I was younger, I actually didn't want to look younger. But I think the fact that I'm happy, I now look younger, means that I'm old, which is scary. Psych 54. I kind of hate the new look because it's very not me. But I'm going to maybe give it a chance for a while and see. The main question is how much ass do I get with this new haircut? If when I do like the accounting at the end of the month and it's the same, I think I'll go back to the scruffy Kevin because that takes a lot less work. Yes, exactly, Northhawk. Yeah, exactly. I actually, to be honest, I feel bad for homosexuals in Tokyo because it must be so hard for them to know who is and who is not homosexual in this city. Because seriously, like half the men here have, brand bags that match their neckties. It's really a very metrosexual city in general, So yes, yes, Northhawk. Actually, I finished filming last night. Was the final shoot for the thing, and so I got home. I called my parents, and my mom was ecstatic. My mom thought I looked very, very nice. And they cut off my little soul patch. That's the thing I most I miss the most. It's gone. I've had that for years. Years. I've had that for like a decade. It was like my little friend, and like when I would think, I'd go like that and play with my little Furby, my little face Furby every time I would think. But now it's gone, so I'm afraid I won't be able to think anymore. New government, new Cooney, exactly. The question is, will either the government or the new look be in any way effective? And I also liked how I used to not shave. That was awesome. I enjoyed that because that saved me that was at least 5 more minutes of sleeping time. Actually, Dormant Duck, that's a good point. No, I look horrible in most of my IG photos. My favorite is my New York State license photo, where I look like I don't know what the fuck I look like, but this is horrible. For one, I was clearly fatter then. Oh man, frightening. And my gaijin card photo's not bad. That looks somewhat like me. The worst, I'm really pissed off. I used to have my Los Angeles driver's license had this great photo of me looking like retarded. I was like that in the photo, and the cameraman like looks at the photo and laughs. He's like, "Dude, you're gonna have to keep that one." I'm just like, LA is awesome, because like in New York, like they would have freaked out and be like, "Get to the back of the line." No, this is not fuck around time. Get to the back of the line. You're gonna wait again, and then you're gonna take the photo right. But in LA, the dude like looked at the photo, just like, "Oh, you're keeping this one yet? You're keeping this one." I couldn't believe how much more lax they were in LA. The thing is, like, the eyebrow trimming, like, really, eyebrow trimming? Like, I don't think I can ask my barber or hair salon person to do that. It seems creepy, asking someone to trim my eyebrows. And the most humiliating thing, and I'm glad they got all of this on camera, was also the nose hair trimming, which, I mean, that's the most disappointing sign that you're getting older, when you start developing like nose hair issues. Ear hair, I'm still good on ear hair. I have not developed any ear hair yet. I think I've got another decade at least before that happens. But the nose hair, it's already started. Frightening. And then, what was the other three things? We also went to an esthetician's. And actually, I think the director said yesterday that they're not going to use this footage because it was too gross. But like, they have this like camera they put on your skin, so you can like super microsize on like this video screen what your skin looks like up close in like HD, and like Jesus Christ, it looks like Mordor. Like my nose looks like the forest with the flying monkeys in the Wizard of Oz. It was frightening. It was frightening. And then like they go and they like treat your skin and stuff. And like this little like secretary woman is like squeezing my nose, and all of this like disgusting like oil and gunk and whatnot is coming out of my nose. And like I hear the cameraman in the background go, "Yes, good." It's like, oh god. So to be honest, like I'm not entirely excited about the fact that they're airing this now, because it was not exactly the most attractive moments in my life. Definitely not one of the most attractive moments in my life. Because I felt like when we went to the S Day, it would just be like they'd put like a little face mask on me and we recorded that and it'd be over. But I didn't think we were gonna get like close-ups of them squeezing out my blackheads. You know, I'm really hoping that does not make it to the final footage. Oh no, we're not done filming actually. We do the studio section of it next Thursday. So like between now, I finished the filming last night. Between now and next Thursday, they edit together like the video footage. Then Thursday they do the studio, and then it'll, I'm guessing, air the following Wednesday. So, but yeah, hopefully, no, Regine, I'm really hoping the black head squeezing scene does not make it to air, because I could do without that footage circulating the internet. You know. 212 Rocky. It will air on gibtv.com, which is the website I work for. And yeah, I explained it in my most recent video on YouTube. I'm at my most boring of usual places, Obesity. Unfortunately, I have a really crazy day today. So, yeah, I'm at Tully's in Obesity. But today, this week, has been a little bit nuts. It's unfortunate. I really like doing Tokyo Eye, like this show. It's really fun, but it ends up really fucking up my week. Because I have like a bunch of other jobs, and like the filming ends up taking like 3 or 4 days out of like 1 week. So it's like, it's a huge pain in the ass for me, like scheduling wise. But like every time they call and ask, hey, do you want to do an episode on such and such, I always say yes. But then it ends up meaning like the week in which the filming is going to happen is going to suck. Because it's just like basically having like, imagine if you had like your normal job, like, and you had everything you had to do in a given week in your job, and then you just suddenly lose 3 days, 3 working days from that week, and have to do everything that you had to do anyway in the remaining days. You know. No, Little Angel 8932, you're absolutely right. And it's hopefully a matter of time. Like I was brought on. Well, I kind of weaseled my way onto the project back in November when it was just like a drawing room. It was just like an idea. It was just starting, and like I was like incessantly telling them it has to be video on demand. It has to be video on demand. It has to be video on demand. And it's not. It's just streaming. And they've been saying, because I keep saying VOD, VOD, VOD. They're like the people higher up are saying we're working towards it eventually, but they have to do that faster. The other thing on the website that's bullshit is currently, if you live in Japan, you can't watch the website. I mean, you can if you just do the virtual private net, like a VPN. You can watch it, but like technically speaking, you can't watch it within Japan, which is bizarre. But it all of these things, the VOD issue, and the not being able to view it in Japan, all have to do with contracts that have already been done, and the way it's to do with the infrastructure of the TV company I work for, essentially, and actual Japanese law as well. Like, for example, like the biggest thing is, and like the BBC, for example, if you go to the BBC on YouTube, like their YouTube site, and you're not in BBC, like you're not in Britain, like you can't watch it. And the reason is because it's taxpayer-supported money. It's like taxpayer money that's paying for all the like Tokyo Eye and all this stuff. Japanese taxpayers are paying for me to get like my like aesthetic treatment. And so the argument is, why are Japanese people paying to make shows in English for people outside of the country to see? And so legally, there's a lot of wrangling going on that issue. You know, but it's like other countries with like nationalized broadcasters are doing the same thing. Packard 75. Yes, I don't know. Yes and no. I mean, NHK is very similar to the BBC in some ways. I mean, I usually, when people ask me what NHK is, I say it's Japanese BBC. Is my like short answer. It's different than PBS. Both NHK and BBC are paid for by individuals. So like basically, everyone who owns a television has to pay about $30 a month to support the broadcaster, um, either in the UK or in Japan. BBC, however, PBS is paid for through Congress. Congress allots them money, and they take donations. So it's the function by which they make their money is very different. Yeah, it's called TV licensing in the UK. Yeah. I know it's actually kind of pricey here. Yes, exactly. Tokyo Rose worked on NHK in World War II. Do I know anyone that does TV in Australia? No. Sorry. I mean, like, I don't know. What's his name? The guy who did Wolverine. I don't know him personally. That's great. I now know who's new to the room by the comment, "Holy crap, you got a haircut." Next time I should get a tattoo of a SWAT sticker on my forehead, so I know when people have just joined the room. No, cookies, I agree. I look weird. And trust me, I'm more used to me than you are, because I've seen me more often than you do. So I'm more weirded out by anyone else. Funny Tamerlane. The only thing I'm worried about is that if I become too sexy, then I will get like people who hate me for the same reason people hate Dane Cook. Because you're not allowed to look good and be funny at the same time. Like, if you want to do comedy, essentially it helps to look like a spaz, you know. No, you're right, Dane Cook just does suck. And he's alright. Tamerlane, it was for a TV show I had to do, so it was forced. I was it was done at gunpoint. But actually, I think I'm gonna attempt to keep it for a while. It's funny. I also now know who's not watching my most recent videos. Are they blending a fetus? Seriously. It sounded crunchy. Yeah, it's the blend tech trying to make a broom into broom juice. Bunny Packer 75. Japan's psyched. Japan has cooled down. The weather has gotten awesome. Like this is like right now is just perfect. It's like perfect street level cafe outdoor table weather. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I can finally wear jackets again, which I love. I have a lot of jackets. You're right. Clean cut works for Bob Saget. But if you've ever seen Bob Saget's stand-up comedy, like it's awesome. But it's built on the irony in some way of Bob Saget saying what he says in his stand-up, because he's the most foul, one of the most foul stand-up comedians ever. But he's also the guy from Full House. So like that irony is what makes it so awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm really loving the weather right now because summer in Tokyo fucking sucks. But the only thing I'm worried about now is my new house. I'm really worried as we start getting into winter because it's like it's big, which means it's going to be either really expensive to heat or I'm going to be freezing my ass off all the time. Yeah, CG 1826. I know exactly. The first time I saw Bob Saget do stand-up, I was like, Jesus Christ, what happened to him? I hope he didn't rape any of the kids on the show. Because I mean, his personality in stand-up is so different from his character on the show. Wouldn't be surprised, Wizard. Factor 75. That's also an excellent idea. And like, we're gonna see how this haircut does. We'll see. I mean, the main like it was funny. Like, I went to this like stylist. It's just like basically this middle-aged woman whose job is to basically help you reinvent yourself. And I had to like fill out this whole like questionnaire and take a personality test and all these different things. And so one of the questions is, what is your hope from your new image? And I was like, that it makes the women bits tingle. That's essentially the main hope. Like, and I don't. So why would there be any? Why would there be any other hope? Why would you? If you're a guy, the only reason to ever like gel your hair or shave or shower or do anything hygienic is out of the hope that it will make the women bits tingle. Like it's. And any guy who says differently is he's hiding something or he's a liar. Like seriously, men would never do anything hygienic. We'd just be drunk all the time and disgusting looking. Thanks, Mom. Bastard. How long did the makeover take? We shot it over 3 days, but the problem is like there's 3 days, but there's a lot of time of me sitting in a van doing nothing. Because actually it's 2 parts. There's me and this other girl, Joanne, which actually she's been on this show as a guest, and we did a video on TokyoCooney together before, one called Traveling in Tokyo on like $100 a day, or something like that. Like $100 trip to in Tokyo. And so she did like the women's makeover, and then I did the guys makeover, and then like we compared, our before and after. And she looked good, but honestly, she's in the archive somewhere. But I think she looks like really great natural. It's a very lucky quality for Western women that a lot of Western women can do very little and look good, like a t-shirt and sweatpants and little or no makeup, and they can like rock it out. Asian women can't really do that. It's a little bit different. Every time, Marlene. No, I don't like the DPJ. The new prime minister is being sworn in on September 16th. Hatoyama is the new prime minister. My feeling is, I mean, it's actually, in some ways, it's very similar. Well, no, okay, that's not fair. No, it's not fair. I was gonna say, like, the massive win by the DPJ against the LDP is somewhat similar to the Republicans being thrown out. It's basically because people hated Bush and like with Cheney and the Republican Congress, they hated them so much they had no choice but to vote for the other side. Actually, that's not completely true. I think a lot of people just really liked Obama. I guess a better example is the Republican takeover in was it 90, 96, 98? You know, where it was just like they were just so disgusted by the people in power that people voted against them just to have anyone but them in power. Yeah, so anyway, they're going to do nothing. And one of the things that, like, I always hated Minchito is what we call the Japanese, or the DPJ. I've always hated them because they have this pernicious habit of saying shit that's completely untrue and impossible, but sounds nice. Like for example, and this is my favorite one, is like there's like a tolls on all the roads in Japan, and they are going to remove all the tolls from, like, every road will become free in Japan if we're elected. And it's like, yeah, here's the thing, you can't actually do that. Like, that's impossible. And if you do that, well, then that means you're gonna have to, like, slash education or healthcare or something else, because you'll still have to fix roads. You know, you'll still have to pay for these things. But the thing is, like stupid people hear that, like, wow, free roads, that's awesome. I want free roads. Yeah, let's do that. You know, but it's just like whenever a political group panders and says something that's so clearly impossible, but it would be cool. I mean, of course, that would be awesome. You know, that'd be great if that could happen. But financially, it can't. It's an impossibility. And so I lose total respect for any political party that makes claims like that. Yeah, the Happiness Party, they are really weird. There's a lot of weird parties in Japan, actually. But and actually, and another guy, I just read a great letter to the editor who was pointing out that, make all the roads free to encourage people to drive more so we can fuck up the environment and increase the amount of gasoline we burn. That's a great idea. It's a great idea. Please, yeah, let's do that. Let's encourage more people to drive and burn, fossil fuels as much as possible. It's like, and the guy's right. It's like, but it's just like, that's like a whole other, random, negative point about the thing. But the average Japanese person hears free roads and gets all giddy. And it's like, I want to vote for them, And, well, this is the thing, Packer 75, the DPJ is elected and they are supposed to remove the bureaucrats from power. And I don't think I want to get into a whole explanation of the whole bureaucratic system and what it means. You'd have to research more about the Japanese government to understand a lot of the issues I'm talking about. But briefly, they say they are going to take the power out of the hands of the bureaucracy. But most pundits and analysts I've read are saying that basically for the next year, the DPGA will basically do nothing except try and find things that the LDP, while we're in power, fucked up and covered up, and they'll release those every month to keep people distracted. By the past one was so fucked up because basically it will take the DPJ a year at least just to get their shit together. because they've never run the government ever. Like the other party has been in power for they were out of power for like 10 months once in the 1950s, but basically since 1945 they have been the only political party, and now this like minor party has been put in charge, and so like they're all like, oh shit, like we're actually in charge now. So no, Andy's son, they were the underdog. I mean, that's the thing. They were the underdog, or they were just not the other party. You know. But it's just like Japan fan. Are you a Sim Civilization fan by any chance? I've seen the DBJ manifesto, and it's fucked up. Also, the biggest issue coming up soon is going to be Japan's future with the U.S. Basically, the DPJ is immediately, they're saying, going to stop supporting any of like U.S. activities in the Middle East. Like, and all they're doing now basically is supplying gasoline. But they're going to basically pull back any support of the U.S. And it'll be interesting to see how the relationship between the U.S. And Japan continues, because honestly, it seems that Clinton and Obama are refocusing American foreign policy on becoming strategic partners with India and China, and Japan is less and less a concern. In fact, the ambassador that Obama sent to Japan is somewhat insulting to the Japanese. Basically, he's like a completely inexperienced, unqualified, lightweight, random dude who helped in the election process, and he got a nice, cushy little Japan ambassadorship, and he's not like a legitimate person. So like it's interesting to see if or how the U.S.-Japan relationship will survive. I think she's just waiting for her latte. Or maybe she's waiting for me. Hello there. I just had my eyebrows trimmed. Nice to meet you. Japan fan, you didn't answer my question. Are you a Sim Civilization fan? Sorry, I missed a lot of shit here. Limestar Inc. That's easy. Yurakacho. In Yurakacho, the best place to go is a place called Yakitori Yokocho. There's a collection of about 20 yakitori shops all on one street, and most of the seating is outdoors. It's under the train tracks. It's incredibly atmospheric, incredibly cool. But it's called Yakitori Yokocho. Go in Yurakucho. Best yakitori place. And in Ikebukuro, West Ikebukuro, there's a good yakitori place, but the name escapes me. But I go there a lot, actually. Yeah. Now Sim 4 owes me back about a third of my life, Sugar Atlas. So I can't imagine if there was a better version, I would cease to leave my house. You have to, and actually, Yakitori Yogucho. Anthony Bourdain did a show on the Food Network called A Cook's Tour, and he came to Japan and he did everything. He did like kaiseki, which is the most expensive traditional meal you can do. He did fugu, which he said sucked, and he's right. He did chunko nabe, which is like what the sumo wrestlers eat, I think. Did all these different things, but he said like the best place he went was Yakitori Yokucho because it was the most entertaining place of all. It was like a real friendly, fun, natural, laid-back environment. You end up talking to the drunk, like Japanese people next to you. It's just like it's a great atmosphere, which is like what a good meal should be. It's not about necessarily just like the exquisiteness of the food, but rather the whole experience. Yes, oh sorry, fugu is blowfish. But blowfish, I agree with Anthony Bourdain on this, sucks. It's the only purpose to eat blowfish in Japan is so you can tell it at a dinner party someday as a cute story. But in terms of like cuisine, it's totally missable. Totally missable. I have, of course, heard of the TokyoCooney Shrine in Tokyo. Everybody in Tokyo has heard of the TokyoCooney Shrine. If they haven't, they're mentally ill or being held in a basement by some psychopath for the last 20 years. Yeah, Lime Starring, it's almost exactly like Piss Alley in Shinjuku. Almost exactly, but it's better. It's much better than Piss Alley. Shomben Yokucho, as they say. I already did a YouTube of Yakitori Yokucho. It's in a video somewhere in the 40s called Expensive Shoes and Cheap Chicken. I think is the name of the episode. I don't remember what number it was. But Expensive Shoes, Cheap Chicken. It's in like, I think the 40s somewhere. My opinion on Yasukuni, I think China should shut the fuck up, basically. If you understand Shinto at any level, you understand that the religion of Shinto has as one of its main tenets. Well, let's just explain this for a second, because it's an interesting issue, actually. Yasukuni Shrine is a shrine dedicated to all of Japan's war dead. So if you want to go and pray for all the people who died in World War II, you go there and you can pray to them. But also enshrined there are war criminals, Class A war criminals like Hideki Tojo, who was hung by the Allied forces after the war. But his spirit is enshrined there, so you can go there and pray. And every prime minister, it becomes a huge issue if the prime minister will go there on like the anniversary of like the end of the war and pray for their souls or not. But the simple issue to me is, in the religion of Shinto, the belief is that once you die, no matter what you did during your life in Earth, no matter how horrible a person you were, no matter how good a person you are, your spirit is now freed and separated from your actions in your life. It's a central point of Shinto, and so, like, unlike Christian say view where there's like someone after they die has to pay for their sins. Shinto believes that once your soul leaves your body, your soul is completely blameless, for your actions in life, and you become like a spirit, basically. It's also very similar to a lot of animist. It's an animist religion. Trees and mountains and rivers also have spirits. The Chinese use the Chinese basically use Yasukuni Shrine as a reason to get pissed off at Tokyo, and it's in some ways like the way the Japanese use, to some extent, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Every time you criticize Japanese people about the war, they immediately go, if you say Pearl Harbor, then they say Hiroshima, Nagasaki. If the Japanese say Nanjing, You know, so it's always like, you know, everybody has their, like, they were unjustly wronged in some way, so it forgives everything else. But with like Yasukuni specifically, I think it's the right of any Japanese citizen, including the prime minister, to pay respects to those who died in war. You know, no matter who they were. That's my personal opinion. I mean, if you're gonna try and say that, you know, Hideki Tojo was a good guy, you're gonna eulogize him and say, "Wow, that Hideki Tojo was awesome." That's shitty. But I mean, just going to a temple and praying for those who died for your country in the war, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But essentially, there's no Shinto hell or heaven, really. Oh, really? Wait, Sugar Atlas KFC in the States or in Japan? Oh, in Japan. I don't need much of an excuse to go to KFC. That's for damn sure. Any song? No. I mean, I wouldn't bring it up personally. But like most people, don't, like, young people don't give a shit about the war. It has zero connection to their lives, and most older people like Americans a lot, in my experience. So. Yeah, I mean, it's like it's a similar situation I can give is like Columbus Day in the U.S. You know, like yeah, I don't get to it, but it's like, I mean, I can totally understand why like Native people are not that excited about Columbus Day, but it's like, you know what? Let the Italians have their Columbus Day. You know, live and let live. So, I mean, I just think it's bullshit, whiny to tell other people like, oh, you can't, you know, you can't celebrate this person in your historical, you know, in your history. I remember my brother telling me a story about he was in Germany. My brother's a soldier. He was in Germany, just like on an exchange program. And he was getting his German jump wings. Basically, he was part of the German paratroop unit, and he was just like making jumps with them. Basically, as like an exchange program thing. And they all got drunk, and they're all hanging out, and like, you know, around 2 a.m, they're pissed drunk, and you know, one of the guys starts talking about how like his grandfather was in the German army, and now, you know, his grandson, he's in the German army, and at home he has all this like German army stuff, you know, memorabilia, which is essentially illegal in Germany. But he says, like, you know, it sucks that, like, you know, my grandfather died for my country. He was a soldier. He followed orders, and he died doing what he thought was best. But like, I'm not allowed to be proud of my grandfather because of Hitler, basically. You know, but my grandfather was not Hitler. My grandfather was just, you know, some guy like on a line of soldiers with a gun, doing what he thought was his job to defend his country, his motherland, you know. And so it's sort of like, yeah, it kind of sucks, like, that basically if you're the losing country, you're not allowed to be openly, like, grieve. You can't, like, openly grieve about your, like, war dead easily. You know, or the other countries like that you invaded get pissed off. You know. It like around the time like the anniversary was just recently. So on TV during the anniversary, there's always like dramatic recreations of the events and documentaries and stuff like that. But like generally speaking, it rarely, if ever, comes up in conversation. Like even like when I meet people from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, like they rarely say anything. I remember one guy I met from Nagasaki, I was like, oh, hey, where are you from? He's like, I'm from Nagasaki. He's like, oh, that's cool. He's like, yeah, that's why I glow in the dark. That's the funniest fucking thing I ever heard. So it's like they have like many of them have a sense of humor about it, even. You know, I mean that guy was not a non-typical Japanese person, but. Eating a burrito is so often a mistake, but we eat them. Yeah, Danya, I agree. You have to have a sense of humor about things. I mean, like literally, I think every comedian in New York, like after 9/11, was like, "Are we allowed to make fun of this yet?" You know, and everybody was like waiting. And it was the same thing with like I noticed with Jacko, like when Michael Jackson died, like the amount of time waited before making jokes was like a half second. Like I literally probably not even that long before jokes started coming out. But Farrah Fawcett, who died at the same time of anal cancer, you really can't touch them. At least not for a little bit, like a week. It's a week. But I mean, I'm sorry. Anal cancer is it's like a comedian's dream. Rectal cancer. You could also call it. Like that's like that's the funniest. Unless of course you have it or know someone who has it, then it's horrible. But like, but the sensitivity around Michael Jackson was like zero. But some things that just are more sensitive. Exactly, I know. I was getting like forwarded like Jacko jokes like literally the next day. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing with Northwalk. It's like Farrah Fawcett, for all intents and purposes, seemed like a pretty good person. So it's like you have to wait for like in 9/11, it was an actual tragedy. So it's like but then comedians did like I've seen some great bits done on 9/11, hilarious stuff done about 9/11. But it was a while before any comedian like had the balls to do it. Yeah, Andy said that's always the way. Like everybody likes people after they die. I thought Michael Jackson's old music was good. But to be honest, I don't remember liking a song by him in the last 15, 20 years. I don't really remember him producing anything of musical quality. I mean, Bad, I guess, was the last thing he did that was good. That's it. Since Bad, I got nothing. Yeah. Just thinking, Ken Suzuki had a joke about Michael Jackson, similar to that Northwalk. Can't remember what it was. Yeah, Fast Tracks. I agree exactly with what you're saying. Fast Tracks. Anyway, enough of the Jackson related stuff. Any actual Japan questions or Japan topics? Ken Suzuki is a total player. Well, Gyudon disappeared for a while during like the height of the BSE thing. basically when BSE was founded in the U.S., Japan stopped all imports of American beef, and Yoshinoya, which is the biggest gyudon chain, basically just stopped selling gyudon. And that's all they sold, really. They switched over to like doing curry and pork dishes, and then now like the import ban on American beef has been lifted, so Yoshinoya is selling gyudon again. But I don't know if the prices have gone up in any way. I really matter. I don't eat gyudon often. Actually, I very, very rarely eat gyudon. I don't know why. I just don't. It's not bad, but yeah. No, curry here is also cocoa curry. Oh, nice. Cocoa curry is one of my favorite fast food places. It's just awesome. Actually, I have to do a video at some point exposing what I believe to be one of the biggest lies or myths about Japan. And that myth is that Japanese food is healthy. And like, if you want to buy like Japanese ingredients in the States, quite often you have to go to like the hippie organic diet store in town. It's got some like lame name like Sadie's House of Organic Love. And like you go there and you can buy like your hummus and your like seaweed, right? But like for some reason Americans are under the impression that Japanese food is all healthy, but like Japan has so many fast food chains that are just so miserably unhealthy, like just slopping bowls of like stewed beef and like curries on top of like fried pork cutlets. Like, I mean, McDonald's here had a sandwich, and it was like, I was amazed. It was like the student beats the master. It was a pork cutlet filled with cheese in the middle, and then fried. So it was like a sandwich. It was a cheese-filled pork cutlet, fried pork cutlet. I mean, that was just like, wow. Injecting cheese into a pork cutlet. Brilliant. But for some reason, like, people are under the impression that like Japanese always eat healthy food, but these are some of the most unhealthy lifestyle people I've met. Like with the amount they drink here, the amount people still smoke, and just the huge amount of fast food chains. But older people, like people in their 40s, 50s, 60s upper, eat really healthy. And once you get married, then your wife's whole life becomes about making healthy food so you don't die. But like for all young people, like guys my age, oh my God, it's horrific what we eat. Yeah, oh no, Japan's obesity rate is almost insignificant. I don't know the numbers, but I mean I can go a whole day without seeing anyone that I could term fat. I mean, but actually, I should point this out. I think it's also like in New York. I mean, I see a lot of fat people in New York City, but it's like Tokyo is an urban area. People walk everywhere. I mean, personally, I walk like at least 3 or 4 miles a day, just like getting to work or wherever. So it's just like that alone has such a huge impact. But in like when I lived in LA, literally I probably walked about 300 yards per day. To my car, to drive to work, to walk to my like chair at work, and that was it. Maybe another couple of yards to go to a bathroom at some point during the day. Like exactly, nobody walks in LA unless you're mentally ill. So I think cities generally have thinner people. In the countryside in Japan, you see like fatter people. And it's like I remember when my parents were visiting. we went up to Akabane, which is just a little bit outside like Tokyo. It's not that far even. And my mom immediately was like, "Wow, why are there more fat people here?" It was like absolutely right. It's like in Manhattan compared to like Bronx or like Brooklyn or Queens, like it's thinner in Manhattan than it is a little bit out, you know, or like Long Island. Yeah, on the Seikyo line. Tokyo Jackie, that sucks. Allergic to sugar, chocolate. Jesus. The guest is my new hair this week. Sorry, as I said, doing the episode of Tokyo I kind of fucked my schedule. I'm just getting lazy. Just getting lazy. That's it. Or I think I might just be out of friends. I think I may have introduced everybody I know on the show. What are some tips to being 30? Lie and say you're 27. Well, no, I had my eyebrows trimmed as well. Again, this was for a TV show filming. I did not personally ask to have my eyebrows trimmed. I think I know how Sam's Hong Kong stories went. I can pretty much imagine. Shit, nigga, noodles, yeah, stay black, mother. That's probably Sam's summation of his trip. Actually, I'm excited. This weekend, tomorrow, actually, is the Brazilian festival in Yoyogi Park. I don't know if you remember that video I did, but definitely going to that. Definitely stopping by, see a little bit of that. Oh, Tokyo Jackie, so sad. I think the week after is the Sri Lankan festival. But Sri Lanka, really? You know, I, the Brazilian festival is definitely a better bet. That would be great. If Japan celebrated Festivus, that would be really, really nice. I might do that this year. I might buy a steel pole and celebrate Festivus. Most popular sport in Japan is baseball. Oh, sorry, Japan fan. J League? No, because I don't like soccer. So I'm American. Neither do some Americans like soccer, but I don't. What's my favorite color? I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm kind of a dork. So I've never really been into sports. I mean, I think generally speaking, most people, most writers and comedians are not into sports so much. I was a cross country runner in school. 'Cause both my parents were track coaches and cross country coaches, so I did that. I like basketball. I like college basketball. I went to Syracuse, and so I follow Syracuse basketball. But in professional sports, I like when I was a kid, when I was like junior high school and younger, I was a huge Mets fan. Huge Mets fan. Oh, Juicy 3, you're in Syracuse. Is it snowing yet? It must be. It's September. Like every now and then I go online, I check the Marshall Street webcam in Syracuse. Or like they have a webcam on the quad as well. And I look at the snow and be like, wow. I kind of miss it and I kind of don't miss it. Dormant duck. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't watch Top Gear, so I don't know. Today in Tokyo, I don't know what the weather is in Tokyo today. Oh shit, it's gonna rain today? What the hell? It's 24 degrees. What is that in Fahrenheit? '76 degrees. So I know it's been beautiful the last week here. It's been absolutely beautiful. Hold on, I want to get another iced tea. I do. He's in Ebisu. Jet's great, but I've never done it, so I can't really give you any specific advice about it. But I've heard almost entirely positive stories about it. Um, yeah, I've been getting a lot of "I look like Mr. Bean" lately too, since the shaving. Like with the goatee, it's Tom Green. Without the goatee, it's Mr. Bean. Either way, it's not Brad Pitt. Um, Japan fan, you'd get a hit? Probably. I think it might be alright, Dormant Duck. No guest today, sorry, Michelio. Flying solo. Sadly, not for much longer. Uncle Kevin has a meeting later. Japan fan, I have no idea what your reaction would be because every person is different, and it depends on what you look like and your level of Japanese or the situation. I mean, it would you know. Mm. Yeah, I mean North Hawk like that. That would be the best situation. I mean, staying in the like, if you do jet, you'll almost definitely end up in the countryside. And then after that, like you can move to like a bigger city maybe and find a bit like a private school to work for or something like that. Oh no, it's a fair enough question you can answer. I have no good answer for it. Well, Michelio, I've lived in Japan for 8 years, so I'd say I've studied it for 8 years. I mean, some years I actually took classes. Some years right now I'm not. Keep saying I'm going to go back to take classes, but man, easy on the blend tech, seriously. But yeah, I keep saying I'm going to go back to classes, but I'm lazy. And it's also like I could buy a flat screen TV, or I could take Japanese classes. It's a hard choice. Flat screen TV or study. Can I read fluent? Can I read Japanese fluently? I no. I can make out the gist of the newspaper. Um, Menus, perfect. Menus, I can own any menu. Like my food kanji, awesome. But like, topics like religion and politics and stuff falls apart. But I use Japanese in like emails at work, and like I get scripts and stuff like that in Japanese. But like my reading and writing is definitely my weakest point in the language. Not that my speaking is that amazing, but. Kilio, I don't study generally lately at all. I try to watch TV as much as possible. I try to make note of new words when I hear them. I work all day in Japanese, basically, so the desire to study when I get home is limited. Yeah, I text in Japanese. you know. Climbed Mount Fuji already. I was gonna do it this summer, but I just don't have time, and the season is ending soon. The climbing season is almost over. I'm gonna do it again at some point and make a YouTube video about it, but I don't know. I did not have my shit together this summer. But I was just working too much, to be fair to myself. Because I mean, I haven't been able to even take like a fucking proper vacation. So if I really would need like 2 days to do Fuji, and it's like I would rather take those 2 days and like go to an onsen in the woods and chill and have a beer and sing karaoke than climb a fucking mountain. Exactly, yeah. I mean, I want to go to the countryside, but it would require me not having anything, like any meetings or anything to go to, which has not happened in a long time. Yeah, no, like chilling out at a spa or something like that can be awesome. Oh, no worries, Limestar. I'm happy to make them. I rarely even get a day off. But I don't work like so many hours most days. Like some days I'll work like 2 or 3 hours. Some days I'll work 12 hours. But I mean, there's always something. Basically, I'm freelance. So, you know. Like, and if I do have time off, there's something else I should be doing. Like working on my comedy bits or, you know, making a YouTube video, something like that. So there's always something I'm supposed to be doing. Every time, but the comedy store we don't perform that often. We used to perform more often, but lately we just have 2 shows. So that's it per month. At our peak, we had like 5 shows a month. Japan fan, yes, I do, occasionally. Unfortunately, it's usually not by hot women. Oh well. Yeah, some onsen bands, seriously, they are insane with the level of heat that water gets to. Like you literally cannot be in it for more than about 6 seconds without being cooked alive. He was the most jackass local I ever met. Can you explain what you mean by jackass? Asshole. There was a guy I worked with who was an IT guy, and he was just a dick. He was just, but I mean, I think he's an engineer, so he doesn't understand how to like socially interact with people. And like I'm not the only one who thought this. Like everybody who worked with him, just like wow, yeah, this guy's really a dick. He was just like incredibly stubborn, and like having a meeting with him, like he couldn't accept like any suggestion or any idea that wasn't what he had already planned to do. Like he could not deal with that. No, he doesn't work for NHK. It was a different thing. But I literally at one like meeting, I can't believe I didn't take a swing at him. Like I was like just so infuriated by, but it wasn't anything he was doing. Like it was just like the attitude and his tone of voice and like the way he would react like to suggestions. Like Yeah, exactly. Marcin Arkela, exactly. It's like I really think he's just socially retarded. He just doesn't have any social skills. He's probably not like a bad human being. Um, he just doesn't understand like how to interact with other human beings in any in a work environment, much less in any environment. Well, thank you, Alicia. Then again, he might actually have like some type of like mental debilitating illness that like prevents him from like Asperger's or something like that. That prevents him from like actually interacting like a normal human being. Yeah, exactly. Just IT people, like not all, like it depends on like specifically what type of job they do, but very often they have social like issues. Yes, I do, Michelio. Hello, Shakalaka. He was definitely an otaku, um, Monmei, but have I picked up expressions? Yes, frighteningly so. Like you start saying things that like, and I don't do it intentionally, but after 8 years, you just start mimicking the people you're around all the time. And I'm around Japanese people all the time. So like for example, like when often Japanese men sit down, they go yush. They say yush when they sit down, or when they stand up, yush, and stand up. And it's like you find yourself doing it. And like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I making these weird noises? Or doing the like when people say stuff. Limestar Inc. No, probably I will not wear the Bruce Lee outfit. Likely ever again, unless there was a really good point to it, you know. But just trying to be a freak, not really on my radar. Just trying to get stared at and be a freak is not totally on my radar. Yeah, no, Martinez, you're probably right. And it's annoying because like some people who have been here like a week do it, and they're doing it because like they're trying to be Japanesey. But like literally, I mean, after 5-6 years, it really just becomes like impossible not to. Uh, nice Lime Star. Lose Summer Azel. Okay, sorry. Yeah, 8 years. Yeah. Well, no, Shekalika, that's not my term. Japanesey is not my term. Came from a friend named Chris Wells, but it's from a larger phrase, Japanesier than thou. And you get a lot of people in Tokyo and in Japan in general who are Japanesier than thou, and they love to think that they somehow get it more than other gaijin. And they look at other gaijin and go, oh, other gaijin, you don't get it. But I'm with the locals. I know what's going on. You know, it's one of the most irritating fucking things about some of the foreigners over here. And even like I won't say who, but some foreigners on YouTube, amongst the J vloggers. Like there's few, but there are some that have the Japaneser than thou tendency, and it's really irritating. Let it be crow, because it's just like, you know what? It's an art. It's an art, you know. Not everybody becomes fully Japanese day one, you know. And nobody, like, a lot of us are not trying to become Japanese, you know. It's retarded. Thanks, Andy. Nah, I would never do Sasuke. Like, literally, I would have the record for failing the earliest. I would be like 1 second in, I would like just like fall. My little noodle arms. And actually, the last episode I did for TokyoCooney, not this one, but the one before it, the date episode. Some of you may have seen it. There was a Sasuke actual theme park in Odaiba where you can like try out part of the Sasuke like thing, and the director was like, "Hey Kev, you want to let's try it out? How about you try and do that?" And I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that because I can take only so much physical humiliation and embarrassment." And like, I do not need the world to see me suck at physical activities. I have some small amount of pride left, as little as it is. I mean, honestly, like, in Japan, nobody cares about Sasuke. Sasuke is a physical competition TV show where contestants compete like to win prizes by like competing in an obstacle course, and it's really not anywhere as big here as it is in the States. Like Iron Chef. Iron Chef has been off the air for like well over a decade and a half. Like nobody thinks about Iron Chef anymore in any way, shape, or form yet. And I get emails constantly from people asking about like Iron Chef and Sasuke. Japan fan. Apparently, we had an earthquake this morning. A friend texted me and said, "Did you feel that?" But I didn't. But we've had, yeah, you have one at least. I mean, there's one every day actually, but ones that are perceptible to human beings, not so often. Like literally, like constantly there's earthquakes, but you don't feel them. A big one that like you notice, like once a month or two. Yeah, Northbrook. I guess I think it's big there because I'm constantly getting questions about it. I ate a bagel with some type of pork product and cheese. Actually, here at this cafe, which is Tully's coffee shop in Obesity, to catch everyone up. No, I haven't seen Hell's Kitchen. Right now I'm on a addictive house marathon. I watched all of season 5 of House, like literally in like 3 days. And now I'm going back and I just started watching, last night I watched episode 1 and 2 of season 4. And I think I'm going to watch all of season 4, then I'm going to go back to season 1 and watch 1 through 3. Psych. No, I think that's done. The Pokemon stamps. That's a summer thing. It's like a classic Japanese summer thing. They do it every summer, basically. Oh, have I seen Lost? Oh my god. Jesus. Yes. Love Lost. I know. Like, I can't wait for next season of House. The last episode of House, when actually, I don't want to be a spoiler, but the very last scene of the season ending, woo, totally moved me. Yeah, emerging. Yes, I know that feeling, but I rented Dexter literally. I've got Dexter in my bag right now. And it's like 4 days over late from the rental shop. So I have to end up paying like a shit ton of late fees. But this is my video rental place. So I got at some Japanese ska and Dexter. And I watched the first 2 episodes, and I was like, nah, it's all right. I don't really like the character, so I don't think I can really get behind the show. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but hold on, moving towards electrical socket. Alright. That was lucky. There was this douchebag using his computer and stealing electricity from Tully's, which is the electricity that I'm supposed to be stealing. It's for me, not him. And he finally left. This is the only chair in the place that has an electrical outlet, sadly. Alright, so sorry, whatever you guys were saying, I missed it. Having a car in Tokyo is retarded. If you live in Tokyo and you have a car, you have either more money than sense, or, I mean, for some few people, I suppose it's necessary. Like, for example, like Gainojin, like famous people. It would be irritating to be a famous person, like you know, like a member of SMAP. You really can't ride the train. But actually, it would be probably cheaper to just take a taxi everywhere than have a car, basically. I mean, because just your parking spot in Tokyo is going to cost you, like, at the very minimum, like $500 or $600 a month. You know, easily $500-$600 a month for your parking spot. So, like, think about how many taxis you could take in a month, you know, for that amount of money. And taxis are expensive here, actually. They're quite expensive. I wouldn't take it because I'd have to pay insurance. I'd have to find a place to park it. I'd have to, like, I mean, it's a huge albatross of a thing. Now, however, if I lived in Chiba or Saitama or Gunma or some other part of Japan that's, like, not easily accessible by train, yeah, then you need a car. Obviously, get a car. But, like, in Tokyo, in my life, there's absolutely no reason why one would get a car. If they have a good public transportation system, Mikhailio, then you don't need a car, quite simply. It's like all of my friends back home who live in Brooklyn or Manhattan, you know, none of them have cars. Like, it's not even a thought, you know. But in LA, you have to have a car, basically. Or, I mean, you can, I mean, I guess ride the bus if you like being raped, like by scary big men. No, there's no story there. Just like buses in LA are scary. Like the most unbelievable part of the movie Speed with Sandra Bullock was the idea that a woman as beautiful as Sandra Bullock rides a bus in LA. Because, trust me, they don't. That was the most unbelievable. Like the car chases, the jumping off cliff, all that was believable. But Sandra Bullock rides the bus in LA? Really? Seriously? Come on. The one thing I like most about living in Tokyo, it's too general of an answer, but quality of life. Just general things like, as I was saying, the transportation system is wonderful. Service is always polite. Food is always excellent in quality. Just the basic quality of life is awesome. You know, if you like Mexican food, Tokyo is not the place to go. Yeah, shakalaka, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The crime rate is, I mean, nothing. Like, I've been in Japan for 8 years, and basically I've had no problems. One time, I was at a club in Roppongi at like 5 a.m. drunk off my ass, and someone stole my bag. Someone stole my bag when I was drunk off my ass and like dancing. I just left it on a chair. It was like dancing like a moron, and so my bag was gone. You know, but that was like 100% my stupidity, like totally my stupidity. When I lived in LA, I was there for 1 year, and my car was fine somehow, but my roommate's car was broken into twice inside a closed parking garage in the apartment building. And our building got shot by someone from the highway who was just driving along the highway and felt like shooting his gun randomly out of the car. Just like, I mean, that's 1 year in LA. I was in Culver City, which is not that bad. I don't think I'm sick. Something in my throat. Beaches be crazy. That's too many questions. I can't answer all that. Oh, the Yellow Barrel Trail. I know what you mean. Yeah, no. I haven't done that. I did not know there was a tropical storm coming. I have no idea. Well, Tokyo's air is not nearly as bad as, like, say, Shanghai or Seoul. But still, I mean, any big urban area is, like, the air can be nasty. So that could be something to do with it. Yeah. No, I'm hoping for swine flu. Just one, because I think it would make a great video for YouTube. That would be a really, really great video. And two, I want to have it done so I can be like, and other people are like freaking out. Oh no, My friend gets wine, be like, already got it, bitch. I'm done. Been there, done that. Over with it. It's just before 2 here in Tokyo. I was just about to write it myself, North Hawk, and then I saw you already put it there. Apparently, most people have like a blind spot to that little bar above the dialogue box, though. Padmasana. A lot of people in Tokyo, basically everybody's got some very basic English, and every now and then you find people who are highly fluent. So, yeah. I don't know, Biscuit, if they find it strange to talk to my computer, because I kind of don't care. Like, you know, people look. So, like, I mean, being, like, a foreigner, like, in a country where 2% of the population is foreign, you grow immune to people looking at you fairly quickly. No. Well, Angel, Wi-Fi in Japan sucks. Right now, I'm paying for a service. I'm paying like $15 a month, and in certain cafes, like this cafe here, I can get Wi-Fi. Otherwise, sometimes I get lucky, and someone has a non-lockdown Wi-Fi signal. But like generally speaking, it's always a pain in the ass to find Wi-Fi. Japan fan, I don't know. I've actually heard that Korea has the fastest internet access in the world, and the highest level of penetration, I guess you'd call it, like the number of computers in homes and whatnot. But I'm not sure about that. Marcin, I don't even know what a G4 is, so no. No, not I know of. No Panera bread places. Oh, you're talking about like 3G, 4G? You mean like cell phones? As far as I know, I have the iPhone 3G, not the newer 3GS, because I'm a schmuck, and I was walking past the shop and they're like, iPhones for free! And I was like, ooh, I want one. And like a week after I got it, they came out the newer one, which has video, which I would fucking love to be able to like record video on this, so I could like upload YouTube shit randomly from my phone. But Blackberries are not popular unless you work for a foreign company. Almost everybody I've seen who has a Blackberry, like they work for a foreign company, and they're basically like issued by the companies. Oh no, Patamansa, whiskey and scotch is everywhere. Jesus, like everywhere. I mean, there's absolutely zero problem getting like foreign alcohol. Although that being said, like in terms of market share, all foreign alcohol, like all foreign beer, is like 7% of total sales. I believe it's like around 7% of total sales. 93% is the Japanese beer manufacturers. But wine, it's like the opposite. It's all, of course, imported wine, and there's some, you know, Japanese wine. But like whiskey, I don't know the numbers on that, but Suntory, of course, you know, Suntory probably, actually makes amazing whiskey. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, and actually, like a bottle of Jack Daniels, I'm guessing is probably cheaper here than it is in New York, due to taxes. Japanese taxes on hard liquor are very low. Japanese taxes on beer are very high. My iced tea was $3. I think that's a little bit too much. But I'm paying for rent, really. In Tokyo, often when things are expensive, it's because you're paying rent for the seat, not so much for the product. No, Chuhai is also, the taxes are much lower. I think interested in Taitoku. Yeah, Taitoku is a cool place. Taitoku is very, what they call a shitamachi, meaning like it's got like a downtown kind of like real local people's vibe to it. It's not so expensive. It's a little dirty, but it's cool. The seventh wave. I don't think like there's. I can get any whiskey in the world in Tokyo. Literally any whiskey in the world easily in Tokyo. Yeah. Funny Tokyo Hayate. What's the most I paid for sushi? Like for one piece, maybe 800 yen, about $8 for one piece, I think. I mean, but like for a meal, I mean, it really depends on how much you eat and what you eat. But generally, like, I mean, there's this place in Shibuya which is a tachi sushi. Basically, you stand at the counter and you eat, and I usually get out of there for about $15. But I'm not a huge eater, you know. But the thing is, like, it depends on what you order. But like very specifically, you know, and in like there's certain sushi places that you go to where there's no price menu. They don't write the prices anywhere because if you're worried about how much it's going to cost, they don't want you as a customer. And like you could like easily pay a couple $100 for a meal. And it's not that they're tricking you. It's the whole point is they want to restrict their clientele to people who, like, well, basically they're just to keep out the rebel, you know. And those places, I mean, it's insane the prices you can get. Like it's, yes, exactly, Rocky 212. And often, like, depending on the sushi place, I've been to sushi places where, like, the sushi chef just keeps a mental tally of what you've eaten. At the end, tells you how much it is. Oh, hey, Anthony. with tuna, as with all these things, it depends on the type of tuna and the part of the tuna it comes from. So, like, different sections of the tuna are wildly different in price. So, also another huge thing, it was probably not noticed by many people in the newspapers recently, but the U.S. and some other Mediterranean countries are discussing a moratorium on all bluefin tuna fishing, saying that basically it is now like just completely no stop because the numbers are getting so low that it's possible bluefin could go extinct. Um, and if that happens, the prices are going to start going up higher and higher and higher and higher. But actually now tuna is farmable. Recently there's farmed tuna in Tokyo. So the gap between like wild Mediterranean bluefin and say farmed like tuna will be huge, you know. Biscuit, you know, you're right to an extent. No, Jazz. Josh Jazz, I'm sitting behind you. What do you mean? What do you mean, like, what's up with raw horse meat? Like, how is anything up with it? It's meat that's raw, and you eat it. If you just started out, maguro aka, like red, regular maguro tuna, is that's the place to start. Exactly. Now, like they never catch tuna the sizes they used to be able to catch them. You know, it's like horses being eaten because it's delicious. I've had it and it's delicious. No, I mean horse is good. It's all right. No, I'm not completely fluent in Japanese. Actually, and this is an interesting point about tuna in general. If you go back like 80, 90 years, the most prized part of the tuna was the least fatty part. And the fatty part of the tuna was considered oily and disgusting. And at some point, that switched. And now the fatty part is adored, and the lean part of the tuna is not. I believe it has to do with refrigeration. I'm not entirely sure though. Tricks Jason, I'm very not happy with my current level, but it's all a matter of like effort and gravity, and it's really hard to get together the energy now to practice more. You know, it's like, it's just, yeah. I mean, I try. Not really. Mediocre at best. I need a hard quality webcam apparently. Yeah, I think someone who was on here mentioned the meat guy. I think I mentioned it in The vlog I did about supermarkets also. How long has it been since I drove anything? San Diego, let's see, I'd say 6 years, maybe, since I've driven a car. No, wait, no. Actually, I mean, I've driven stuff here, like on film, like when I was in Skiji, I drove a little cart thing. Yeah, actually, I lost my license in the States, and the last time I went home, I got a learner's permit, which is just so embarrassing. But I have to go and retake driver's ed or something like that. So take some class if I want to get my license and retake the driving test as well. And I was like, oh, what a fucking pain in the ass that is. Bizkit, no. I've never done anything here that's popular, probably. I don't know. I was on like this English language show recently. That was broadcast like every day at 11, and I know like the the ratings were like good, but like not one person recognized me from it. But anyway, I had a very like inconsequential part. So. But to be honest, I would rather not be recognized. It makes it more difficult to walk into porn theaters if people might spot you on the street. San Diego, rarely I do, and it's always a little bit awkward, and I'm just like, okay, hey, yeah, all right then. Yeah. Later, San Diego. Yeah, no, it is. It is Limestar. And meeting people from online is always weird. Like, even like the first time I meet other YouTubers, and like we've been watching each other's videos for like years, and you meet, and you're like, oh wow, huh? So real life, you're tall actually. That's odd. Japan fan. That's kind of right, but I don't know who would ever say that. And in what situation? Speak in English. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Will Jerkins. I am a writer, comedian, and sometimes performer. Sometimes also I do. That's it. Yeah, no, Japan fan is right, but I don't know when I would ever say, the man eats sushi. That's not a phrase that comes up often. But grammatically speaking, it's correct. Yeah, I think the thing is like with Japanese often like kind of like learning. I remember when I learned Japanese, or like when I see like when Japanese people learn English in school, like the first phrase they're taught is, "This is a pen. This is a pen." So Japanese people always laugh, like whenever they meet gaijin and they don't speak English, they go, oh, this is a pen. Oh. It's like everyone knows that phrase. It's like it's meant to teach grammar, not actually be useful. I think that's like all basic introductory like language classes. But like, you know, this is a pen, subject, verb, object, SVO. It's like, it's the order. Whereas like in Japanese, it's not the same structural order. Chinese, interestingly, has the same kind of subject, verb, object order as English does, but Japanese does not. Like exactly, the subject of, like, no, I don't want to get too anal. Scruffy Kevin's gone. He's dead. I've killed him. I've heard the Blue's Clues thing. All right, so the sum total of everyone I've been told that I look like, and depends on if I have a beard or not, are Tom Green, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, Mr. Bean, David Schwimmer from like Ross from Friends, Al Pacino, all four of the Beatles, literally all four of the Beatles. But mostly George Harrison is the most common one. The guy from Blue's Clues. Anybody else? Man, Diego, it's painful for me to watch my old videos. Very painful to watch my old videos. Lennon Nelson kinda moved back to the UK. I bought at an antique shop in Asakusa Saturday. I went to see the Samba Carnival, which will be my next video, most likely the footage from that. But I bought these sunglasses, and I'm getting mixed reviews. Of course, everyone says I look like John Lennon. I get that, but I'm getting mixed reviews on whether or not they're actually cool or not. What do you think? I don't know if they're cool or like retarded. But I love them. They're like they got these little hooks, like 1930s Japanese sunglasses. Like yeah, that top piece of metal, like this part. I wonder if I could take that off. It is a bit Matrix, isn't it? But I don't know. I'm doing some welding today. Hilarious. Alright, I do this, guys. I gotta go to a meeting at 3, and my iced tea is almost finito. Sorry, they're just blending another baby. Alright, now I'm gonna record a little goodbye. So, thank you to everyone for stopping by today and chatting with me. I will be online next Friday, and although I always promise this, I hope actually I will have a guest on the show next week. Because really, I've been pretty slack on that lately. I apologize. Also, thank you for all the compliments on my new look. I feel like a sheep that's been shorn, but at the same time, we'll see. Also, I've started Twittering lately, so check out my Twitter page and sign up for that. So I'll be posting on that, like when a video's coming out or when like something I've done is out there somewhere. It's under the same name, TokyoCooney. I'm doing it begrudgingly. I actually hate Twitter, but I think I'm going to try it out for a bit and see how it works. That's it. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully I'll have a video out on YouTube by Monday or Tuesday. And that is it. Thank you all for stopping by, and I will see you on the internet sometime soon. Later. Adios, muchachas and muchachos. Of course I'm calling Stephen Fry. Alright, later guys.